in regards to our thinking creates our life. And who am I? I am Jayne Bryson. I'm an ND, and I'm also a business coach and a distributor for Enagic. And all of my details are going to be at the bottom of the YouTube. So thinking is really, really important, and thinking really can change our results in our life. So very much change our mind and change our life. And Albert Einstein, he said, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. And that makes huge sense. So if we have issues in our life, we can't actually solve them by the same way that we're actually thinking. And so how do we actually change everything is that we need to really have something to look forward to. And the reason that I say this, it's in regards to a worthy ideal is something that we're actually going after that we've actually never done before. So how that actually works is if we are going to stay in exactly the same position right now, and we want to be in another position, we want to actually do really well with Enagic, then what happens is we need to basically go for something that is worthy ideal. So a worthy ideal is really a goal. So if you want to only ever become, say, 2A or 3A or 4A in our compensation plan, and that's all you would like to do, you're still going to be a success. If you don't actually want to do the business at all, but you're enjoying the water and you improve your health, and that's something that you haven't had before, then that's a worthy ideal. If you want to be a stay-at-home mother and raise your children, that's a worthy ideal. We are all successful with everything that we're doing. Although, when we actually want to go forward, then we need to work out what exactly do we want. What is our worthy ideal? Where do we want to go? And within this, I'm going to be talking about why we are held back and we can't get the results that we would like. So the worthy ideal is you've got to first work out, okay, what is it that you really want? Where do you want to go? And in a lot of sessions, I've actually talked about working out your goals and working out exactly where you want to be in 6 months, in 12 months, in 5 years, 20 years, whatever that might be for you. So it's a really good idea to work out exactly what you really want. If you don't know when you're going to be hitting all of these goals, if you don't know when you're going to hit 3A, or whether when you're going to hit 4A or 5A or 6A, then it's going to really, you're going to be moving in default, which means that there's no set goal, there's no plan that you actually have. So work first of all at exactly what you want. Where do you want to be? So do you want to be 6A in 12 months? Do you want to be 6A in 6 months? Whatever it might be. There are people in the company, it's a very small minority, but there are people in the company that actually get to 6A in a 3-month period. There's not many. It's like 0.0001%. But it's there for you. So first of all, you've got to work out, what is it that you really want? And a worthy ideal is something that you have never done before. And what I'm saying is that there's a lot of information in the Think and Grow Rich. And he really talks about having different types of goals. You can have like an A-type goal. And the A-type goal is something that you've already done before. So something that is, someone hasn't muted themselves. So I can just hear someone in the background. Yeah, okay. So the goals are something you've never done. So A is a goal that you've already done. So that could be writing a shopping list, going shopping and you getting that done, or maybe giving water out to people. You've already done that before. That can be a goal, but it's something you've already done before. And then you have a B-type goal that you haven't done before, but you believe that you can do it. So for instance, Tui believed that he could go 4A. Ella believed that she could hit 3A and probably 4A, and everyone believes that they believe that they're going to do a particular rank in this Enagic business. So the thing is that if that doesn't scare you, then that goal is really not big enough. Because whatever the goal you set, it has to scare you a little bit. And the reason being is that when you're out of your comfort zone, you get a case of what it's called as overwhelmment. And being overwhelmed with things, and how you become overwhelmed in this business is comparing yourself with other people and what they're actually doing. You become overwhelmed when you believe that you need to make websites or put on water parties or water presentations, or maybe just doing lives on the internet. So all of these may overwhelm you, but the thing is that that's how you're going to get to your end result. That's how you're going to get to that goal that scares you just a little bit in your life. And that's the difference between the A, B, and C. So the C-type goal is really the thing that scares you a little bit. Some people, I would say, for instance, with Paul, right? He was really going out of his comfort zone to actually go and do lives. And I told him, I said, nope, you got to do it today. And I am sure that he was shaking when he was actually doing it. But if I look now, he can do lives every single day. He could do a live at 2 o'clock in the morning. Nothing scares him anymore. So the thing is that you have to go through that thing that scares you a little bit, getting out of your comfort zone so you can move a little bit forward. And of course, that's where the magic is. The magic is behind the brick wall. The magic is over the fence. The magic is actually just jumping out of an aircraft and working it out as you go down. Hopefully pull the parachute. So, what is your worthy ideal? Where do you want to go? And that's the thing. Number one, work out what you want. 2 is something that you've never done before. And 3, something that scares you just a little bit. Because when you get overwhelmed, I love overwhelmment, because I know for myself, that's when I'm actually growing. I'm growing. Now, what else is there? I'm going to be talking about this. Here I can speak around 10 hours on this particular, it's called a stick man. So, and this explains your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And I actually got this. There's a guy that his name is Dr. Thurman Fleet, and he was the man who designed this stick person. Now, when you look at this graph, you're going, wow, that looks really complicated. But I'm going to break it down a little bit, because once you understand how your mind works and the compartments it has, and how you're really programmed to only use your smell, see, touch, taste, and hear, once you understand this whole concept, then what we can do is move to the next level and work with what they call as our higher faculties, with perception, imagination, intuition, will, memory, and reason. All successful people use all of those on the left-hand side. They're your higher faculties. So getting back to the stick person, if I said to you, imagine hopping out of your car, walking into your home and into the kitchen, you could probably close your eyes and imagine and visualize that whole thing happening. And you could probably be quite comfortable with being able to visualize that. But if I said to you, imagine your mind, most people wouldn't have much going on in their mind, because it's extremely hard to imagine the mind. Because the mind, most people think it's like the brain, but it's actually not the brain, because we have senses all around our body. Everything is all connected. And the way our body works within it is what we have our cells communicate through electromagnetic radiation. That's how they communicate, through vibration. So we're vibrating beings. So we are taught at a very young age to actually only believe what we can smell, believe what we can see, believe what we can touch, believe what we can taste, and believe what we can hear only. And you have 2 types. You've got the conscious mind and you've got the subconscious mind. So the conscious mind is what you're dealing with right now. You're listening to me. It's very logical. You're probably writing notes, and that's your conscious mind working. But what we also have is we have a subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind, there's no filter. The conscious mind, there is a filter. And how we do our lives right now is that the smell, see, touch, taste, and hear, that's good. That keeps us safe. If we see something that's going to endanger us, well, then we're going to move, all right? Or if we hear something, we taste something which doesn't taste very good, if it's off, for instance, then we're going to spit it out because that keeps us all safe. Now, the issue is we have the conscious mind and we have the subconscious. So with our conscious mind, if we say are watching a television program and we're seeing a car accident and we feel very distressed with that car accident, although it's not happening to yourself, it's actually not even anyone of your family. It's someone random, maybe on the other side of the world. So what happens is our conscious mind can't differentiate, and it feels, it goes all the way through our subconscious mind, because all emotions go through to our subconscious mind, and our body, we believe that it's actually happening to us. So every single time when we're upset about someone else's life, if they're getting hurt and we cry for that, our body, we don't know that it's actually us. Like our cells don't really know the difference. So it's extremely important for us to really be able to control how we're feeling and how we're thinking at any particular time. So with our conscious mind, we can actually say yes, we can say no, it's very logical. Our subconscious mind is where all the programming goes, and we have no control over that. So we can be watching television. As I said, we can watch a terrible accident and feel very sad about that happening. That's going to go directly into our subconscious. Subliminally, when we're listening to the media about all the fear, what's happening, like they could build up like one person in Australia dies of whooping cough, so let's all vaccinate. That gives us fear. So same with the swine flu. The year before the swine flu, that was a worse flu season than the actual swine flu. But we were programmed through media and television and radio that go out and get vaccinated. It's going to be the worst season ever. People are dying. Every year, people die of the flu. Some people have like a limited immune system and they're going to die of the flu. The year before the swine flu, more people died, right, than the actual swine flu. But everyone was so paranoid. In fact, in my life with the Eka, the same week that it hit the media and the television that the swine flu was around, the Eka day, which is generally thousands of people, it was nigh on empty because of the fear that people had. So what happens is when people are fearful, it goes all the way through our subconscious, and all the way through our lives, we pick up all of these downloads, these programs from what people say to us in a negative way. We also pick up positive as well, but the subconscious mind can't really differentiate between what's good and what's bad. It's just going to suck everything in. So when you're listening to radio and television, and you could be doing your work, but in the background, you're listening to all of this fear that's going on. We have no control over that. It goes directly downloaded into our subconscious. And of course, we behave through our body. So when we're really happy, right, then our body will react. If we're really sad, then our body will react. Now, the thing is, all successful people have all of those attributes on the left. They're extremely perceptive on things in their life. They use their imagination. So we've talked about, imagining you sharing the water with somebody and they're really wanting it, and you can see yourself filling out the forms and you see yourself them enjoying the water, and you can see them, their health improving, and you can see them then offering it to their friends and family. That's using your imagination. That's how it actually works. And intuition is, again, it's like a higher faculty. Intuition is extremely difficult to actually prove scientifically, because what happens is we're so used to only using our limited ability which is through our conscious mind using our smell, see, touch, taste, and hear. That's how we run everything. We're heavily programmed on that. But our intuition is something that we get when we're in silence, when we're in meditation, and there's certain things that will come into your mind that it's going to guide you to the next step. And intuition is really more of a feeling. You can feel things, and that's your intuition. So if you went into a room and you didn't feel good about the people that were in the room, then get out of the room, because that's your intuition telling you that it's not safe or you're picking up some bad vibes. But again, it's extremely hard, especially in our society, that we're not taught really, and intuition is really suppressed over a period of time. Why? Because we're really living in our conscious mind and we're just working on smell, see, touch, taste, and hear. The will is something which is really, really important, because the will and the desire to get to where you want to go has to be so strong. So if you don't have the will can override everything. Absolutely everything. If you set a goal, this is what I want to do. I want to get to 4A. I want to get to 5A. You can just have the strongest will and the desire, and you will actually get there, coupled with imagination and visualization of you actually receiving that award, or receiving that amount of money, or receiving, or actually speaking to a group of people and they're thanking you for sharing the water with them, that you've totally changed their life. Memory is really important too. We have certain memory that we need to, I suppose, deal with. There's some bad memories that we have, and there's some good memories. So the bad memories, yes, sure, feel the bad memories. But if there's certain memories that keep coming up and you keep getting triggered in your life, well, then it's time to actually work out where they're coming from and let it all go. And of course, reason is our ability to facilitate things. And for instance, like animals, my dog, right? We're sort of different to the animal world. Like Max can't start a business. He can't tell me how to work my computer, right? He has a certain amount of intuition. We don't know whether they've got imagination. Maybe they do. But generally animals work on intuition. But all the other higher faculties that human beings have, animals don't have that. And that's why we're set apart from the animal world and the human world. And you see, once you understand how your mind works, it is so, so powerful. And it's a really good idea to write down those on the left: the perception, imagination, intuition, will, memory, and reason. They're really, really important. They're our high faculty, which are actually going to get you to the next level. If you don't use those high faculty, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to get to any rank in this company and have that financial freedom that you're actually looking for. So that's really, at the end, I'm very happy to actually go through any questions. I usually do, but write down the stick figure, because it's a really good for you to understand how the mind actually works. But the subconscious mind, there's no filter. Everything goes in. And this is actually why we behave the way that we do, is because we're heavily programmed over a period of time. And until we get the awareness of how we're behaving and and what we're thinking about, it's extremely difficult for you to actually get anywhere in your life. And that's in absolutely everything. If you want the best relationships, if you want financial freedom, I'm meaning an abundance of money going into your bank account. I'm not talking about people that want to be millionaires. Most people don't. They just want enough to pay the bills and a little bit extra. That's what most people actually want. So unless we start working with our perception and our imagination, intuition, will, memory, and reason, it is going to be extremely difficult if you're still working just on smell, see, touch, taste, hear. There's a bigger thing out there in this world. So how it actually works, and this is really, really interesting. You might want to actually write this down. So this is actually from Thinking into Results, which I've been studying for quite a few years now. So what happens is you get a thought. So say you want to go 6A in the next 12 months. That's your thought. You create ideas around that. So you've got a really good understanding of how you're going to get there. You've got some ideas of how you're going to do it. You might give out 30 bags of water in a month, or you might do follow-up Friday, every single Friday, and follow up 10 people. And they're your ideas and they're your thoughts. What actually happens from there, it becomes feelings. And again, you're not going to get anywhere until you actually feel it. And this is why if you ever wanted to go out and get a Ferrari or whatever, you know, a fast car, whatever that might be, it could just be a red one, whatever. If you don't feel what it would be like sitting in the car, feeling the breeze on your face, smelling the leather, if you really want to do that, and feeling good about it, then it's going to be extremely difficult for the actions to follow. So first of all, it's your thought, and then your ideas. You start thinking and you start thinking, and then the emotions come in and you start feeling, and guess what? Your body will then react, and then you'll get some sort of action. And then, of course, it's going to produce a result. So that's how it works. You have a thought, goes into a feeling, then you have an action, and then it produces a result. These could also be not successful results as well. It could also be that it's a thought that maybe you're not good enough. It could be that, or you're not ever going to get to 6A, or you've tried so many other things in your life and it hasn't worked, or you're afraid of talking to people about Kangen, or you don't know how you can do water presentations, or maybe you're comparing yourself with everybody else out there. But we're all running our own race because we're also uniquely different, and we're all at different levels, and you can never compare yourself with anyone else, period. So what happens is, even though you've got those not very good feelings about yourself, it's actually going to go into a feeling, and guess what? Your body is going to portray that. Your whole life is going to give you those results. Because all of your results right now, today, right now, you can look around where you live, how much money you have in the bank. All of those is to do with your thinking, period. No one else, you. No one's doing your thinking for you. You are in control of every single thought that is going into your brain. Every single thought. And you cannot you can't expect someone else to take responsibility of your life. So this is why it's so important to get your thinking right, to get your thinking right. And Zig Ziglar, and I heard Zig Ziglar when I was in my early 20s. I used to listen to Zig Ziglar like for at least an hour every day. Zig Ziglar, and he said, you know, stinking thinking. And that's what he would call it, stinking thinking. But number one is that you've got to be aware of what you're actually thinking. What are you thinking? What are you thinking on a daily basis? Because that's going to turn into a feeling, it's going to turn into an action, and then you're going to get the results. And remember, all your results is direct reflection of your thinking. Very, very important. So we have programming, right? So we have been gifted with our higher mental faculties, which I've gone through, which is perception, will, imagination, memory, reason, and intuition. You need to tap into that. Go and have a look and see the meaning of that. It's really important to get our head around that. So we are programmed to live from the outside in. So what happens is we allow other people to upset us. We allow groups of people. We allow the media. We allow so many things, our external existence. We are programmed to live in that particular way. And that programming causes us to do what we do. That's our programming. Have you ever heard someone say, oh, look, I've always done it that way? And you're trying to explain a better way, but they say, oh, no, I've always done it that way. No, I've always done it that way. That's who I am. Have you ever heard someone say that? That's who I am. Well, no, that's not who you are. That's who you have programmed yourself to be over a period of time by multiple beliefs, by multiple habits over a long period of time. So first of all is observing what is going on outside of you. What is going on outside of you? And don't let it control your thinking. Don't let it. There's many avatars that have actually been on this planet. You have Gandhi, who stood up against the British Army and won without a gun. He never allowed his outside world to affect what was going on in his internal world. You have a look at Jesus Christ, who came onto the planet. These are real people that came onto the planet that other people have written about. He was put in so many terrible situations, Jesus Christ, but he never allowed the outside world to come into his inside world. He even loved the people that killed him in the end. And it's the same as many, many people. I can go on with Mother Teresa. Do you think that would be easy or hard for Mother Teresa to actually get charity money, speak in front of politicians in a very meek and mild voice? She never raised her voice, but it was her words and her tone that actually got to where she wanted to go. She worked in the worst part in Calcutta. I've lived in India, and I know that part is very, very different to Australia. Very different. So don't let it control your thinking, all of your external. Know who you are, know where you're going, and go with will and desire and just get it done, whatever that might be. Okay? And you think thoughts that will create the idea of what you want. And that comes in your visualization and your imagination. And that's why children are so imaginative until they hit school. And then when they hit school, all their creativity and innovation just disappears because they're suppressed and they're institutionalized. And that's another subject. I won't go there tonight. So change results. So what do you have to do? First of all, you've got to be consciously observe the new result. Like, what do you actually want, and how are you behaving? And, how are you speaking? What are you doing on a daily basis? You mentally adapt to the new results. You immediately begin to think the thoughts that create the idea of how to improve upon it. So when you're visualizing it, then what happens is that's going to be your new result, because you're visualizing everything. You're visualizing giving out the water. You're visualizing writing down, filling out the forms. You're visualizing absolutely everything in your mind. I've already visualized the huge event that we're going to be putting on in Brisbane. I visualized it. I know exactly what I'm going to wear. I know exactly what everyone's going to do. So the thing is that you've got to stay in charge of you. And I know it's difficult. I know sometimes the external environment is really tough. You're going to come across people that they're dream stealers. They're going to tell you you can't actually do it. Why? Because you've got a track record of not being successful. So they believe that when you've hit the Kangen Enagic, that you're not going to be successful. Wrong. Because you know more. You're a different person to what you were a week ago. In fact, you're different to a day ago if you're doing personal development. So you don't let the outside world control you, because you control the outside world. You allow whatever you want to come in to your being. It's totally, totally up to you. So as I'm going to conclude this, I know there's many people on the call, so I'm going to stop the recording soon. But the thing is that the action thinking is, what one action can you commit to taking this week that will support your new thinking and the achievement of your goal? Because what we're doing is we're thinking about new things, our new thinking, the new you. Because the information that I've explained right now is really, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. And I would probably recommend you listen to it again. Because once you get your head around that you're totally responsible for your thoughts, massive things are going to happen. Magic things are going to happen. Because when you feel overwhelmed, when you're comparing yourself with others, you're going to have a reality check and say, well, you know what? That's not actually correct. That's not correct. What I'm thinking is not correct. That's not true. I'm a completely different person right now. So the action thinking is, what one action can you commit to taking this week that will support your new thinking and the achievement of your goals? So change your thinking, change your life. And I hope that I've given you lots and lots of value. Below here on this YouTube video, I'm going to put all of my links, and you're welcome to click onto those. If you want to email me, that's great. Click on my website, that's great. But I just want to thank you. And yeah, you do need a lot of courage. So just remember, change your thinking changes your life. Bye for now.